All right, let's talk about something we all do. Those tiny, subtle habits that might be getting in the way of our social connections without us even knowing it. You know that feeling, right? You walk away from a chat and something just feels a little off. You can't quite put your finger on it, but it's just there. Well, it turns out that our social lives are a lot more complex than we think. And psychological research shows that we're often our own worst enemies, sabotaging our connections with these little habits we don't even notice we have. So let's dive into the first big category. A lot of these social saboteurs, they really come down to our ego. You know, that very human need to impress people. A need that, well, it can totally backfire. First up, the classic humble brag. Oh, we've all heard this one. It's when someone tries to sneak a brag inside of a complaint. Like saying, I'm just so exhausted from my 2-week trip to Italy. We see what you're doing there. And here's the funny thing, the science on this is crystal clear. A study from Harvard Business School found that people actually like you less when you humble brag than when you just, brag. Why? Because it feels insincere. It's like you're not only trying to show off, but you also think they're not smart enough to catch on. So the takeaway here is just be real. If something good happened, just own it. Instead of that fake complaint, share your excitement for real. People connect with authenticity, not a performance. Okay, another massive ego trap, interrupting. Now, you might just be excited or you think you're showing that you get it, but the message it sends is kind of brutal. It basically screams, hey, what I have to say is way more important than what you were saying. But there's a super simple fix for this. It's called the 1-second wait. Seriously, that's it. When you think they're done talking, just wait 1 beat. Just 1 second. It makes sure they've actually finished their thought, and it shows you were truly listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk. And of course, this ego-driven category also has the one-upper, the person who hears your story and just has to top it. And then there's the know-it-all, who isn't trying to share, they're trying to dominate. Both of these turn a friendly chat into some weird competition that nobody wanted to be in. But, it's not always about ego. Sometimes we mess up our connections with the best intentions, usually by trying to get close to someone way too fast. Let's look at some of these shortcuts to connection that just don't work. 2 of the biggest ones here are TMI. Yep, too much information too soon, and name dropping. They both break the absolute golden rule of bonding. It has to be a 2-way street. A real connection is built bit by bit, back and forth, like a good game of tennis. It's not one person just dumping a truckload of information on the other. Oh man, this next one, I think we're all guilty of this. It's the fix-it mistake. A friend comes to you, they're venting, they're upset, and our immediate instinct is to jump in with solutions. But here's the thing. Most of the time, they're not looking for a consultant. They're looking for a friend. They want validation, not a to-do list. So picture this. Your friend is telling you what's wrong. Your brain immediately goes, okay, here's what you should do, or, oh, it's not that bad. But the thing that actually helps, the thing that builds connection, is to just reflect their feeling back to them. Saying something like, wow, that sounds so frustrating. Makes them feel heard and understood in a way that, don't worry, just never will. Okay, so far we've talked about what we say, but so much of communication isn't about our words at all. It's about what we do. So let's get into the silent, non-verbal messages you might be sending. This slide lays out a few huge ones. For example, getting into someone's personal space, their bubble, can actually trigger a biological fight or flight response. Crazy, right? Or not subtly mirroring someone's body language. That can make them feel excluded. And then there's the big one, checking your phone. It's the ultimate nonverbal insult. It says, this glowing screen is more interesting than you are. And finally, just being a constant complainer. You become an energy vampire, just sucking the life out of the room. Okay, I know after hearing all that, you might be feeling a little self-conscious, but I want to shift gears here for a second because there's this really fascinating and honestly super comforting silver lining to all of this. I mean, it's the question that's probably popping into your head right now, isn't it? Oh my God, am I doing all these things? Does everyone secretly dislike me? Am I a social disaster? Well, I've got great news. Psychology has a fantastic answer for this, and it's called the liking gap. It's a proven cognitive bias that says we systematically, consistently underestimate how much the person we just talked to actually liked us. Just think about it. After a conversation, what do? You replay every slightly secret. The other person, they probably didn't even notice. They walked away thinking you were perfectly lovely. Look at it this way. You might walk away from a conversation rating it a 6 out of 10 because you're zooming in on all your mistakes. But in their head, they're walking away thinking, wow, that was a 9 out of 10 chat. That space between the 6 and the 9, that's the liking gap. Your inner critic is probably lying to you. So after all this, what's the big takeaway? It's that trying to have a perfect conversation is the wrong goal. The real goal is connection. And connection comes from being authentic, from giving people your full, undivided attention, and from being more interested in them than in being interesting yourself. So I'll just leave you with this question. Don't try to fix everything at once. Just think, what is one small thing you can do to be more present in your very next conversation? Maybe it's putting your phone completely out of sight. Maybe it's trying that 1 second wait. Just pick one. And remember, you're probably already doing way better than you think.